A concept that you can use for your designs is called one-point perspective. Now there are 4 different perspectives you can study, but in this video I'm going to show you 1 point. So in Photoshop I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to open up this template. Okay, this is a 1-point perspective template I've used throughout my teaching in order to really break it down for you. So if we look at this composition, we notice we have one line that runs completely horizontal. This is what we call the horizon line. So in Photoshop we use the line tool to just draw over that. Okay, and we call this the horizon line. Okay. In 1-point perspective, we have what's called the vanishing point. Now, it goes with the name. There's only one vanishing point for a 1-point perspective. And in this case, looking at this design, you're noticing that the vanishing point is at the direct center and is this black circle right here. So what I'm going to do is just mark that. I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, click, drag, draw over that slightly, mark it, boom. And that we call the vanishing point. Now another name for vanishing point is focal point. Okay? When we look at this template for 1-point perspective, we're noticing that we have angles. Now these angles are what we call converging angles within the layout that help actually draw the other supporting elements within the composition when we use 1-point perspective. So let's look at this window here. I'm going to go to the line tool, back to the line tool. Notice that we have an angle here from the vanishing point. It converges on the vanishing point, but if we draw away from that vanishing point out, we can go ahead and establish and understand what the distance of that entire edge of that window would be as it converges on the vanishing point. Same applies down here. That's how you use 1-point perspective. Same applies to the inner beveling of this window. So see this angle here? That angle converges on the vanishing point. Same applies up here. Once you have all your angles established and you understand the proper width of the inner bevel, the outside of that structure, as it applies to the converging angles, you then use vertical lines and you draw them between your angles, and that's what gives you understanding of the proper width from the horizon line on both sides of that object in your scene using the converging angles. Same applies here in this edge. Same applies to the inner bevel of this window. And then once those are drawn, you have the idea of where those little corner cuts would be. And that's how you draw your structures, objects, supporting elements within a 1-point perspective. Let's look at this other example I have. All right, I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. Okay. So looking at this design, as I mentioned in this one, the vanishing point can be positioned anywhere on the horizon line. In this case, this was at the direct center. So let's look at this one. Where is the vanishing point here? Vanishing point, if we're looking at the angles of this 1-point perspective, using this as 1-point perspective reference, all the angles converging on a vanishing point which lays right here. Now that established, that already sets us up and makes us understand where the horizon line is. So if I use the line tool and draw a cross here, our horizon line is located right here. Now horizon line, the definition for horizon line is where the earth and sky meet. That is horizon line. So if we look at this image that I found, let's go ahead and establish where the vanishing point is, which is right here. We notice that this is the sky, this is the earth, and that is what helps us understand and locate the horizon line, which is right here. The vanishing point's here where all the angles converge. Now the artist was pretty brilliant. They kind of drew the land to go a little bit higher than the horizon line here, and the artist did that because it allows the viewer to understand that, yeah, the earth is not 100% perfect. Looking at the converging angles, let's go on. Let's start with the middle lines of this road. Take the width down a little bit. These lines converge on the vanishing point. The outside lines of the highway converge on the vanishing point. The base of this sidewalk converges on the vanishing point. The top edge of this sidewalk converges on the vanishing point. The sidewalk over here, both angles converge on the vanishing point. The bottom of this building converges on the vanishing point. The bottom of this building converges on the vanishing point. Let's look at the angles that are above the horizon line. When you're using one-point perspective, you have to have angles above and below. Okay? It's wise because it helps see the whole perspective. Look at the top of these buildings, these angles here. These are converging on the vanishing point. This sign, there we go. This sign, the top and bottom, is converging on the vanishing point. The fence back here is converging on the vanishing point. The bottom of the fence is converging on the vanishing point. Going back to the first example, the window structure that we were able to break down and build, these window structures, the angles on the top and the bottom, are converging on the vanishing point. Angles help align all the windows, proper width. The sign, and then from there we would draw our vertical lines to outline the rest of the structures, and once it's all outlined comes a fill-in. To make it easy, the artist just went ahead and drew angles like so, just to kind of build the back parts of those, and the base over here in this one, so forth and so forth. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, this is a professional movie poster. This movie poster uses the concept of one-point perspective. The horizon line, again, looking at the last example I showed you, is where the earth and sky meet. In this example, let's take a look at it. The sky is here. The earth in this case is actually the water and this area of the dock in which the man is standing on. So let's find the horizon line. They eventually converge right here. So the horizon line is right here. Let's find the vanishing point. The vanishing point, believe it or not, is right here. And that is the exact location of where the man is. So when the artist was building this design, they used the one-point perspective to go in and set up and create all the emphasis on the character, the man. That is where all the elements are being drawn into, and where the viewer's eye is going to first analyze this piece before they start to study all the rest of the supporting elements. So let's look at the angles. Now this is really great. Look at the top of these rooftops as it applies to the last example I showed you. Let's use the same breakdown methods. Whoops, go to line. There we go. Top of that rooftop. That area. Now the angles are just a little bit off because the artist didn't want to give it away too much, you know. You don't want to just give away your work. That angle there. Look at the bottom of this structure here. All those buildings. The bottom of this structure. Notice that these buildings in the background are built from the horizon line. That's wise. Background elements should build from the horizon line. The blocks of ice that are floating in the water here, the width of these are actually set up based off the perspective. See that? The cracks in the dock, not all of them, but a few of them actually align directly with the vanishing point. Okay. The bottom of this structure is just these little windows peeking out of this building. Those angles in there align with it. This angle, kind of like in the top part of this doorway area, doesn't, but it's still, like again, you know, the artist didn't want to give it completely away, but it is still being used to build the depth in the scene based off the one-point perspective concept. Okay, so once all the angles are established, you can kind of see them. Also in one-point perspective, we have what's called the central vertical line of perspective. So that runs completely down the middle of your comp. And it's where it really just divides the idea of the left and right side of the comp vertically, like the horizon line divides it, the top and bottom portions, okay? And it's where they crisscross is where the vanishing point is. So let's look at the central vertical line of perspective in the movie poster I'm showing you. And it is located, this is really great, right down the middle of the dragon. Now also keep in mind what's great about this piece is it kind of takes on the same idea of where all the lines converge on one vanishing point at the center. But notice how this horizon line is kind of a little bit higher than this one. This one's lower because by lowering the horizon line down, we have more of a sense we're looking up. And that's exactly what this artist wanted to do. We wanted to get the idea that this dragon is towering over this character. Okay? Really great. Okay, I got one more to show you. This is a piece that I did. This is a grayscale render, prism marker render, traditional art. What I like to do when I use these concepts is I like to actually create my horizon line. It doesn't have to be entirely straight. You can have your horizon lines angling a little bit, and now that kind of creates more of some depth and motion. Two, similar to what I was talking about here, how some of the angles, you know, align directly with the vanishing point, but some are a little bit off to, you know, you don't want to give it away too much. What I like to do is sometimes just create a very large vanishing point. Okay. And using the same concept. Keep in mind that you can go to my LinkedIn page at linkedin.com if you would like to link up with me and have me as a resource and a reference in your list of contacts. You can send me a message at my LinkedIn, and that will reach out to my Yahoo email, hence my Gmail accounts, and I can always be there to help you. Thank you for watching, and look forward to working with you.